comment comes from studious viewer Pulcha, and they say, once you learn what syntax scenario is for tangible words and what for non-tangible words, then the fog clears off. Yes, I agree with Pulcha with that statement, but I'm going to clarify that statement and bring it into focus. In the context of correct sentence structure, communication, PARSE, syntax, grammar, there are 5 syntax scenarios. And those 5 syntax scenarios include tangible contract words and non-tangible contract words. I think a more accurate way to articulate what Pulcha is saying is to say, perhaps, once you learn what syntax mechanics apply to tangible words and non-tangible words, then the fog clears off. So once you can credential whether a word is tangible or non-tangible, then you know, then you can go down a list of things, of functions, of mechanics that would occur when that word is placed in an adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble context. And I feel this is a good place to let the viewers out there know, especially all the new viewers, how this concept came up. This concept of tangible contract words versus non-tangible contract words, i.e. fact-based words versus non-fact-based words, was completely and totally rooted and sprung from the creative mind of my brother, friend, and tutor, Raven-Farhad-Tawhidi: Now I know lots of you folks out there have no idea who that is, and that's okay, because as far as I know, Raven does not have an online presence, and he's certainly not in the public. He once did many years ago. However, he has no interest in that, as far as I know. He's definitely navigating in the private and the confidential. However, I do feel it's my duty to give the man credit where credit is due. He came up with the concept, he taught it to me. Now I share it with you because we both decided, you know, back when I was learning this stuff in 2017, we were both looking at the syntax values that David-WYNN Miller, David-Wynn, Miller, and Russell J. Gould, Russell-J. Gould, would bank on fiction documents. And in one document, they would put like the as an adjective, and then the as an adverb, and the as a pronoun, and the as a verb. And it's like, whoa, why is there so much inconsistency here? We need a baseline, and we need it to be solid, unassailable. We need common ground that everyone can get to so that everyone's syntaxing will be consistent. And we did. Started with him, and then we would research. We came up with the baseline of looking up the words in an etymology dictionary. And if we go to the earliest nativity root meanings of the word, if all the, you know, we had tangible side, non-tangible side. If most of the marks went on the tangible side, then we would syntax it as tangible contract. If most of the marks were on the non-tangible side, then we would syntax it as non-tangible. It's that simple. But because of this, syntaxing has become much more consistent. Next comment comes from Chirothaka, and they say all words are nouns, names. Noun means name. No men. No men. Names points to facts. We name things. No men clatur. Nomenclature. And in my correspondence is noun. No equals no. Un equals no. What don't you understand? P.S. No nomenclature. No equals no plus men equals plural of man, or to think plus claiture, to shout. Point I'm trying to make with this individual, which I gave what I would call my :David-WYNN: Miller answer when I said NO equals no, UN equals no. Point is saying is that the value of a thing is what you ascribe to it. And to say something is all, like all words, is like saying only a Sith speaks in absolutes. Like, how can you prove all? Personally, I stay away from using that word because I think it's very assumptive and presumptive. Next comment comes from the RULE-ÆQUAL record, and they say, I absolutely love Sabrina's work. It makes me ask myself, are my thoughts even my thoughts? Thanks for the link. I've been meaning to go back through her talks lately. What this individual is referring to is a post I made in my community section where I recommend a woman named Sabrina Wallace's channel, which is called Psi Energy, PSINERGY, and it's on YouTube. And actually, interesting thing about Sabrina Wallace, she's actually doing classes across the U.S. right now. She's doing one in Ohio, I think in the Carolinas, I think in Missouri. And to think about these classes, which run 2 days, I think, there's no charges or fees for the classes. She says this right on her channel. It's like, just show up. They're free. There's no fee. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, she definitely has her own like private website where there's things that you can donate to, right? But she's not out there charging hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to come see her talk. No, it's free. I like her style of doing that as far as that goes. And also, okay, I'll give you a little rundown on what she talks about. She talks about what we call the biofield now, what used to be called back in the day the aura, AURA. The Internet of Things, how Healthcare 4.0 and the 6G, 7G, 8G and all these things, how they literally connect this technology to the nodes in your biofield because you are an electrical entity. What certain ancient Eastern philosophies would call your chakras are actually nodal points, the same way that your phone can send and receive text messages or connect to Bluetooth, send emails, because it has a certain node on it for certain shipping lanes. The same thing is in your body. They have connected to. And the proof of this would be the, I can't think of all the terminology because it's new to me actually. The same thing that they do for your home healthcare monitoring. Have you ever put on a fitness watch? What do they call Fitbits or something? And it can tell you your your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your glucose level. How do you think that it knows how to do that? Because it's connected up to your aura, to your biofield. And this has been going on since 2005, I guess. Anyways, Sabrina Wallace, Psi Energy. Check it out. Next comment comes from Johnny Come Lately. Very aptly named, I would say. And they say, you are a jealous liar, give it a rest. They're commenting on the Claim of the Live Life video where I point out once again that the Live Life claims that come from the Colin Russell-J. Gould area of the quantum grammar community or domain or sector, from that sector, they're not correct grammatically. They are not correct, and they do not have correct witness mechanics. If they're to be a correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar claim of the live life. And of course, this individual, obviously one of their cult followers, and they say, you are a jealous liar, give it a rest. So that's the go-to for these people, and I've shown this over and over again. They use ad hominem attacks, try to tell you what to do, but they don't give any contrary information. They're not here to try and prove me wrong with evidence or anything like that. They're just here to basically come up to the window and throw a rock or something because they can't do anything else and then run away. Because they know if they stick around, they're going to get their ass beat. That's pretty much what it is. So then my kuleana is I syntax what they said, which you is a non-tangible adverb, modifying R, which is tangible, into a verb, followed by non-tangible contract A, which is an adverb, which is modifying tangible contract jealous into an adjective, which is coloring tangible contract liar into a pronoun. And then give is a tangible contract adjective, which is coloring non-tangible contract it into a pronoun. Nothing can follow a pronoun except for you know the rest. In this case, it is a non-tangible contract A, which is an adverb, modifying tangible contract rest into a dangling participle verb. I give the syntax key, and then I say the mark of the ignorant, name calling. Would you like some Kleenex? I do offer to help them, because I feel bad for people like that. I do have some empathy for them. Next comment comes from Adrian Corey, and they say, I heard about Grimoire just a few days ago from a fellow who is trying to gain more freedom from the courts by using common law and American nationalism as opposed to U.S. citizenship. To gain more freedom from the courts. So in that context, what this individual is saying that the courts have the freedom. And this individual, a fellow, is trying to get more freedom from the courts because they don't have enough freedom. So they want to get more freedom. And the entity that has that freedom are the courts. So he wants to get freedom from the courts. Just like if you like cake and you go to a vendor and they have cake and you only have a small sliver, you want to get some more cake from that vendor because that's the only vendor that has the cake, so you go and try and get some more cake from them. I guess that's as good an analogy as I can give you. After explaining the way the math interface in quantum grammar works with the rule-1 rule-equal, maintenance using for, of, with, and by as positionals, they give me that short, arrogant answer of grammar is grimoire. Aside from this scenario, perhaps the grammar going back to the early writings of the Bible, 3,000 plus years, was communication by writing letters and no spells, in its native language, of course. Then later with the translation to English, 19th century magic spells was brought in to harm others. Does that make sense to any of you? And then I say, grammar is grammar. It isn't going anywhere. How people use it, i.e. the volition behind and clear closure, is critical. If when you decide to obtain closure, I'm sure you'll have answers to all your current questions. Yeah. I mean, this is all speculation, and this is the typical type of question from someone who doesn't have closure on correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. And that's fine. I appreciate the comment coming on here. It's all in the value that you ascribe to something. What is the value of something? If you want to think that grammar is a spell like a sorcerer or a wizard casts, that's completely up to you. I can tell you, you and I won't be contracting anytime soon, with correct grammar anyways. Because I file that stuff under Narnia. Another comment from Adrian Corey, and they say, for my thanks of your treatise audio is with my value of my clarity and closure with your gift by my viewership. And then backwards that would be, for my viewership of your gift is with my clarity and closure of my value with your treatise audio by my thanks. Now, folks, that is a 100% correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar sentence. More specifically, a correct sentence structure, communication. In this particular context, and you have to keep this in mind too, and this is for you, Adrian Corey, to keep in mind next time. This, perhaps, conceivably, would be the type of communication that I would use with a friend or someone I'm familiar with, so that we know who my is, we know who your is, Because when you look at this sentence on its surface, if you put it on a piece of paper outside of the context of everything that's going on, you have no closure on what this individual is talking about. There's no claim stated in this sentence. So it's filled with assumption, presumption. The correct sentence structure mechanics, the grammar mechanics are correct. There's no particles of negation in the facts. The positional sequencing is correct. And the lodials, you can use these words as lodials, but it's the context in this matter that is critical. And this is not a communication I would use in the public with someone I didn't know. I would make it more formal so that everyone can read it and everyone can get closure on it in a public venue. Hope that makes sense, Adrian Corey, but well done on the sentence. I appreciate you. Next comment comes from Mark Lee, and they say, correct sentence structure is not written in all caps spelling of words. Correct sentence structure is not written in all caps spelling of words. That's so funny that they say that. Look here, Mark Lee. Look, it's all caps. Look, it's correct sentence structure communication written in all caps. I have just proven your claim to be 100% incorrect. Nobody writes in all uppercase. Nobody, right? I just showed you that somebody does, right? So I've proven you wrong twice now. It's not a particular style or format. Actually, it is. Third time. It is a particular variant of half right and half wrong. Well, where's your closure on that? Where's your continuance of the evidence? I have mine. Where's yours? The correct sentence structure is upper and lower case. In what venue? What are you talking about? First of all, this individual is writing an adverb verb adjective pronoun fiction babble, which tells me, just by the way they're talking, also the context of what they're talking about, the content, I don't think they know the first thing about correct sentence structure. They said, are you from Great Britain? That flag there is peculiar. I suppose it has different meanings for different folks, just like words do. It's a captured war flag. Again, where's the proof of this? The value of a thing is what you ascribe to it. The flag that I use is a 1 by 1.9, Title 4, correct sentence structure communication, PARSE syntax grammar flag. It's the one I use. I don't own it. I don't possess it. However, I do have a constitution for it, incorrect sentence structure. I have closure on it. Flag protocols. And I've been 100% successful with it over the last 9 or 10 years, using it, stopping the bureaucratic trespass of the fiction babble system. Folks that write just like Mark Lee is writing here, and also, quite frankly, with the same attitude that they think they know everything about something, but they don't provide any evidence. I have the other one. Other one what? The one with the yellow fringe around it. Yes, that's the one I have captured. I'm not claiming to be a postmaster general or anything like that. I'm just an average guy who was murdered on paper by a woman claiming to be my mother in complicity with the United States of America and the 179th. I do get a kick out of people who come on here like this and act like they think that we should know what the fuck they're talking about. Again, coming from Narnia, I'd have to imagine. That's a foreign invasion of standing army occupying the land of the sovereign states, isn't it? It's whatever you want to say it is, baby, in your mind. That is a federal jurisdiction in the District of Columbia, same place that declared war on the sovereign living people. Again, individual doesn't, I don't think they know what the meaning of sovereign is, but again, you know, they may use their own meaning for sovereign. But unless you can produce your own gas, your own money, produce your own money, create your own money, have your own land, and also have the means to protect it, you ain't a sovereign. The orphans in 1954, the elite held a meeting and oh, good goodness. Oh, Silent Weapons for Quiet War. Okay, well, you know, when I first read Silent Weapons for Quiet War, it was 1990 when I got Milton William Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse. That's when I first read Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, and how long I've been studying this stuff. Aim their sights on us with the benevolent slavery. That's an oxymoron. Benevolent slavery. Like sovereign citizen. And genocide thing after harvesting us from birth and teaching us to trade our true value for inflated currency. The quantum grammar is a corporate language construct that only works in a small circle. No, actually, it doesn't work in a circle. Lee, it works if you have closure on it, and it will work in any scenario. If you, the user, have closure on it, which you, quite frankly, do not. I'm 99.9% sure you have no freaking clue what it is. The all caps correct sentence structure is a gaslighting affair, not saying that the English language is any better off. That is what I was taught in every brainwashing school and textbook to the masses of people. Each negated word negates the law wherever that same word appears. Just saying. Just saying. Thank you for the entertainment, Mark Lee, and also thank you for telling me pretty much everything I need to know about you and how you think about things. Next comment comes from longtime viewer Ted Berry Combo, and they say, I have a copy of Australian Origines Constitution by David-WYNN Miller, who was dubbed by Australian Origines as Spirit Walker. Well, that's pretty awesome, Ted Berry. Although I have not set eyes on that particular Constitution contract, I have seen David-WYNN Miller's, David-WYNN Miller's Hawaiian Constitution, where he was, the king of Hawaii. I've seen that. And I think anyone can see that if they go on his website, or what's left of it, after it's been ransacked by Mark lowercase k, Kishon Christopher, and his people. But I'm pretty sure the Hawaiian Constitution is also available. You know what, Ted? If you have a link to that, or if you have it in PDF form, I would appreciate you sharing that with me, because I definitely would like to put eyes on it. Last comment, speaking of Mark lowercase k, comes from Onramenkara. And they say, evidently there are people all over the internet who have been brought under the influence of Mr. Christopher. Interesting statement. As far as I can tell, that guy's been totally been scrubbed. Where he was everywhere a couple years ago, ever since he got arrested for and charged with attempted kidnapping and got sentenced to 7+ years in prison. Haven't seen much about him. Ever since YouTube deleted his channel. I was just introduced to the one in the USA concept. I have no idea what that means. I'm unfamiliar with his podcast platform. I don't think he has one. But a search of his name as I misread it turned up your and this channel as #1 in my algorithm. Interesting. Now that I can deduce that he ran afoul of the courts a full year ago, I'm expecting in the UK concept. I'm reluctant to find out anything else. Ran afoul of the courts. But I do wonder somewhat about all such enterprises, so I'll search a bit further if it's permitted. I think what this person, perhaps, could benefit from knowing is the grammar. So, I'm not going to try and say your name again because I don't want to mangle it. This YouTube channel is about correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar. A grammar technology brought to the public in 1988 by the late DAVID-WYNN Miller. Mark lowercase k Kishon Christopher, as well known in these certain limited circles as he was, did not have closure on his grammar. He couldn't syntax for shit. His correct sentence structure was remedial. at best. Like, he didn't use correct positional sequencing, and during the end of his career, we'll call it a career if you want to call it that, he didn't even use correct sentence structure or try to use it. That's how I would say it. He just used plain simple English, adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble. So, and tried to pass it off as something that's correct when it's actually not, in the context of the Title IV 1x1.9 grammar flag. Alright folks, hope you enjoyed this comments video. That about wraps it up. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you watching. Go ahead, leave your comments. I appreciate your comments, good, bad, or whatever, ugly. Do it. Comment, say what you want to say. Like, subscribe, all that shit. Appreciate it. Que sera, sera.